Hello, my name is Leonardo, and in this video, I'm going to do the electronics assembly for the Prusa i3 MK3S printer. In the last video, we worked on heat bit and PSU assembly, and in this video, I'm going to do the next step. Let's get started. So the first step is to prepare the Hinge Door. So we need the Hinge Door, and then the Hinge hinges, which are supposed to mount the door to the frame here. So our plastic parts should be in the number 8 ELE box and the printed parts here. So the Hinge Door should be the small one here with a little like flat side here, and it shouldn't be this big one that has this little like a rectangular cutout thing here for you to cut out. It shouldn't be this one. It should be this one. So yeah. There's also need one M3S nut and two M3X10 screws, which are in the number 8 ELE box for the second box, other box, not the printed parts. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure that ELE stands for electronics. So yeah. So all the screws and nuts are in here. So I'm gonna open it up. And then I'm going to prepare the Hinge Door too. So we're also going to take the M3S nut, which should be the square nut, and we're going to put it in this middle hole here, right here, the middle hole, and there should be a little square slot there, or rectangular slot there, and you're supposed to slide the nut into it. And you could also use a wrench. One of those Allen key wrenches, small Allen key wrench to align it. And it says keep in mind that the nut might fall out, so you might need to put it back in. And we're going to mount it to this side of the frame. So we're going to mount the lower hinge for the Hinge Door to this hole here. It should be above these 3 screws here silver screws here. It should be to the left, like this, the top row to the left, like this, the row above it to the left hole in that row. So right here, and I'm going to place it like this, and then you're going to take the Hinge hinge top, and you're going to insert another one of those M3X10 screws to this hole here. And you're going to mount it to the top here. You're just going to let it sit on there, and then I'm going to mount it to this hole. The next step is to wrap the X-axis cable. So we're going to take the remaining textile sleeve, which is in here. And we also need one zip tie as well. So take it out. So the remaining here, and then we're supposed to take the textile sleeve and wrap it around. Now I'm going to secure the textile sleeve to the motor cable using a zip tie. The next step is to prepare the Hinge base. So we need the 3 printed part of the Hinge base here. We need 6 M3X10 screws, 4 M3S nuts, and 4 M3N nuts. So first we're going to take 4 M3NS nuts, which are square nuts, and we're going to put them inside these holes in the following way. We're going to put 2 nuts inside the heat bed holder, which I believe is right here. this like part that's jutting out at the side. The heat bed holder. There should be one on the inside here and one on the outside here. So find a rectangular hole there. So the other two M3S nuts are supposed to go in this part that's jutting out off the top or the bottom of the NZ board, the NZ base. So there should be two rectangular holes on the outside. You should put them both in there. And that's for the extruder cable holder. So, yeah. The next step is to take the M3N nuts insert them into the top for the top 4 holes. And remember, you need to look closely. They should be the hexagonal holes, and you're not supposed to put them in the round hole on the side here. The next step is to insert the what's it called? This NZ motherboard, the Rambo motherboard, into here. So we're gonna gently take out and only touch the sides because this is electronic. Be very, very careful. So we're going to gently slide the board in. And there should be a little orange piece here. And the orange piece is supposed to, if you don't have an orange piece, you're supposed to put it back with there's a little groove there, this missing groove there. So to put it where the little bump of the orange thing is facing that way. And that little orange piece is supposed to be facing the side that has a wall on there, not the side that's empty here. And then you're supposed to secure it using the M3X10 screws. So I'm just going to gently insert them into here. The next step is to mount the NZ base to the side with the NZ door. So we're going to take 2 M3X10 screws and insert them into the holes that are parallel to the holes that we inserted for the NZ door. So now I'm going to gently rest the NZ base on these 2 screws. And I'm going to mount it, I'm going to attach it using this side of the wall. Now I'm going to do the cable management. So for the silver PSU, the cables go above the extrusion, and for the black PSU, the cables go below the extrusion, as shown in the picture here. And now I'm going to prepare connecting the cable bundles together. So we need 1 extruder cable clip, which is here. We need 1 heat bed cable clip here, and we need 4 M3X10 screws. And now we're going to attach it. So I'm going to tilt this over because this is by the NZ base, the NZ board here. So I'm going to tilt it over. And we're going to take the textile sleeve from the heat bed, and we're going to slide it into the NZ, the bump here that's on the side of the NZ base, and we're supposed to put it on here. I'm supposed to put it a little bit before the end of this. So I'm gonna screw it on here using M3X10 screws. The next step is to connect the wires to the NZ board, and it's extremely important to connect them to the right place. So the version A should have both wires on each pair are black, and the positive wire is marked with the red line. And the version B, on each pair there's a red and black wire, and the positive wire is fully red. So yeah, different pieces. So let's just connect the PSU and heat bed to the INSI board in the following order. Red arrows indicate positive slot. So first cable from PSU, A plus to A minus. On mine it shows the arrows here. Now that I've attached all of the electronics to the INSI board, let's see what the next step is. The next step is to mount the PSU cover onto the bottom of the PSU. So we need one PSU cover and two M3X10 screws. So I think this step is fairly easy. So we also need to do a final check of the power cables. So for the PSU, the cable should go red, red, black, black. We also need to make sure which cable it is. Everything seems fine. And also on the INSI board, it's supposed to be red, black, red, black, red, black. And they should be red, and the pairs of red, black should be on one cable. So yeah. And now we're going to take the cover and we're going to insert it on here with the Prusa. I should say Prusa, facing like out, and you can read it. Like, so it's like not like backwards like this. It's be like this. The next step is to connect all the motor cables to the INSI board. So we need to connect the X to the topmost one. And we also need to take the sensor, and we're going to put it on the bottom row, which is this is very important. There are two rows. You need to put it on the bottom row with the white cable on the farthest left and the red cable on the farthest right. Place it on the bottom row. And we also need to put the fan. We also need to put the fan on the little group of cables where the they should have a green label on it. There's a black wire. There's a group of sensors, the things here, and then we're supposed to put it on the bottom farthest right of it. So we're going to put it in for that. That's for the Prusa fan, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's a Prusa fan. So I'll put it in there. And then I'm going to put the extruder heater is going to be put on just to the left of the fan, of the Prusa fan that they created. Just gonna put that in there. Next, we're going to connect the LCD cables. So the double striped one is supposed to be the left LCD cable, and then the single striped one is supposed to be to the right of the LCD cable. Yeah. Now that I've inserted all of the LCD cable and all of the E-access cables, let's see what the next step is. The next step is to close this door and screw in a screw to screw everything in. And we also need to wrap everything around So we need to make room for everything. So I'm gonna channel everything down because there's the opening on the door. And then I'm gonna close the door. Now that I've fully tightened the door, NZ door to the NZ base, let's see what the next step is. The next step is to assembling the double spool holder. So I think it's in the plastic parts set again. It should be labeled with number. It should not be labeled with number. Instead, it only should be labeled with spool holder. So yes. So you should have two side arms, which should be identical, and you should also have one center part. Now we're going to assemble it. First, we're going to make sure that this little opening here is facing towards you, and then you're going to attach the right one first. For me. Let me see. Oh, and there should be a little latch there. So I think you're supposed to push it in on its side and then turn it up to lock it in place, like this. And then you do the same thing with the other side, except for you do the same thing for the other side, except for twisting it down. So now I've completed my spool holder, and I'm going to attach it to the top of the frame. So you're going to attach it to. They're going to attach a spool holder to this. So facing the side without the orange, the x-axis is on. So like facing this side. And don't just press on the top. You should also press on the bottom to mount it. So there we go. And I mounted my spool holder. So now I've completed the electronics assembly, which is the last assembly of the Prusa i3 MK3S printer. In my next video, I'm going to do a pre-flight check to check everything to make sure that's correct. Thanks for watching. Bye.